Isn't it beautiful?
Hello, everyone. This is Jen with Jen's Jen Art, and we are back for day 2 of our live acrylic 10-day challenge. Say hello when you get here. Hopefully today everything will work smooth. Hopefully you have learned how to use the chat in the YouTube chat area, and everybody is so excited to be here. I'm so excited that y'all are here. Hello, Miss Kay. Yay, you finally painted. I love it. Miss Ellen is here, ready for day 2. Tell us where you're watching from. We want to know what kind of people we have watching us today and where you all are. And we always love to talk about the weather. So just give us some hellos. Michelle says hi. We are going to have a blast today, so y'all hang on. We just getting started. Yes, wasn't it fun? See, I'm actually, Miss Carol, we're going to do some shout outs in just a minute right here. We've got Charleston, South Carolina. We've got Perry, Florida. We've got New York and Illinois and Missouri.
New York.
And Oregon. On my treadmill in northern Minnesota, 29 degrees. What is the temperature here today, baby?
It is 50.
It's like in the 60s or 70s. It's like super nice. Like it's beautiful outside right now. We've got Colorado. We've got Texas. We've got Idaho, California. We've got everybody from all over the place. We love it. We love it. We love it. Love it. Thank you all so much for coming on and being a part of Jen's Jen Art. It is going to be super fun today, and I cannot wait to get started and talk to you about what we have in store today. So a couple of things that I want to go back over with you because we had a little bit of confusion yesterday. So I'm going to make my screen all about me for just a second. And you can see Michael. Michael is going to say hello. Michael kind of moved out of the way. He said he was in the way yesterday when he was behind me. So he decided to move a little bit on the side. And going back over the daily schedule, here's the daily schedule. Today, we're going to talk about colors. Okay, we're going to talk about the color wheel, and we're going to do some color study in a couple of different ways. And our painting today is going to focus on that color study. Okay, so we're going to have fun doing that. A couple of things about the Facebook group. Okay, these are just some posting rules that I wanted to share with you. I'm going to try to get my face in here. I know that my screen almost looks like super bright. I'm going to try to calm it down a little bit. Okay, that's a little better. So the Acrylic 101 Facebook group is for the lessons that I am preparing for you to share your work and to support each other through the Acrylic 101 10-day challenge. It's not a group where you can just post whatever you want and try to advertise for yourself. It's really, we monitor what the posts are. You can definitely come in and introduce yourself because that's one of the things that we asked you to do in the Facebook group. For the bingo card. So yes, come on in, introduce yourself, tell us about you, and you can share a painting that you've painted in the past or something like that. So I just wanted to let you know that posts are monitored, and we really want the Facebook group to be focused on what is happening now in the lessons and in the course. Okay, so all of the Facebook group posts need to be focused on that. So if you may have gotten a post that was not allowed, it was probably because you were trying to post something that had nothing to do with the Acrylic 101 course. Okay, and that would be the only reason you would get denied a post in there. And we have hundreds of posts going through all the time. So we just want to make sure that we keep it mainstreamed for you. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you understand what our focus is and what we're trying to accomplish here. So I really appreciate your participation that way, so that everybody stays active and knows exactly what's going on. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. Here's Miss Pauline. Hi, Miss Pauline. Hello. She says hello to everyone out there. And so we are so glad that y'all are here today. Let's see. I'm trying to get rid of that post on there. Let's see. It's still showing. I don't know why. Oh, hide current comment. Let's just try that. Okay, there we go. And so today is all about color, and I am going to give everybody a shout out first before we start with all about color. So what I'm going to do is show y'all what's been happening in the Facebook group. So here's the Facebook group. It's called Jen's Den Art Acrylic 101. And we're just going to give a really big shout out right now. If I can get my iPad to work for me. Miss Linda Batten posted her first day challenge. And then here's Miss Susan. Thank y'all all so much for posting. Look at that, how awesome that is. Miss Susan says, parts I like, parts I don't like, but I am learning, and that is the important thing. And yes, ma'am, that is exactly right. And that's what we wanted to hear from you. Miss Curry is very excited about the bingo card. I thought this was the cutest post ever. I wanted to share that with y'all. Miss Karen did an awesome job. Look at Miss Karen. Isn't it so awesome to see how you can create all that depth with all the different values just using 2 colors? This one is super exciting. Look at this. Look at Miss Dawn. I just love the color scheme in here. It's just really good.
What does HWK stand for on the bingo card?
Homework.
Oh.
Yeah. If you were a teacher, like I was a teacher, you know what HWK stands for. Here is another post by Pam. Y'all, if y'all have not scrolled through and given love to everybody, look at that, how beautiful. I just think they came out so good. Y'all are doing an awesome job, and I hope that, look at these colors. This is probably like a burnt sienna, right? Quote, interesting update. I tweaked my painting. It was really bothering me. I'm thinking this is a burnt sienna, but both of them are just beautiful. Look at those colors, how pretty. That's a very common underpainting that I see a lot of professional artists use, and I just love it. It's beautiful. So I'm so super excited. Y'all, there's hundreds and hundreds of posts in here, people introducing themselves, Miss Laura, and even some people they took their own photo. They took their own photo and tried the whole challenge that way, and I thought that was super fun. So remember, if you're playing the bingo card, oh, look at these colors too. Look at Ronnie. It's gorgeous. I love going through this at night and looking at all of your posts. So continue to post because it's super fun. And if you're playing the bingo card, make sure here it says post a pic of day 1 homework in the Facebook group. Okay. Say hi to Jen on day 1 video. You get a square if you do that. What else do we have for day 1? Comment on 3 of someone else's day 1 post, okay, in the Facebook group. So there, if you did that, you get to color that in. I don't think I have anything else. Follow Jen's Den Art. You can color that one in. Subscribe to Jen's Den Art YouTube channel. You can color that one in. Introduce yourself. Join the hub. So yeah, you have a lot of blocks that you should already have colored in. So once you get 5 in a row, it's going to take a couple of days for you to get 5 in a row. Once you get 5 in a row, post a picture of your bingo card and your name will be submitted into a drawing for prizes. So every time you get 5 in a row, make sure you post a picture of your bingo card so we can see it. All right.
A couple of questions.
Yes.
So what if you don't remember the date?
The date of what?
I'm not sure. That's what Michael asked.
Oh, that's okay. Just put a long time ago. Because Michael, you've been with us for like 3 years or something. I understand what you're saying.
Do we all have the same card? Then we'll all get bingo together, a bingo party.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is yeah, you all have the same card, but you're all participating in the same way. So I want you all to have an opportunity to earn a prize. Does that make sense? Yeah. But yeah, that's a good idea. I can always make different bingo cards and like But that's a whole nother thing. So again, let me remind you one more time that you are amazing. You are believed in, and we want you to believe in yourself. And we are going to have so much fun today. And remember, stay inspired. Never stop creating. Never stop creating. Keep that always in the forefront of your mind. So let's get started with our color study. Let me see if I have the right one. Let me see if I can get it to come up. That is 14 slides. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay, so I'm going to add this to the stage. I'm going to take this one down. And now you will be able to see, we want to go to slide 1 and not slide 14. Okay, here we go. So we're going to talk about colors today. We're going to talk mainly about 2 different special areas, and this is only going to take about 10 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and paint using the information that we are discussing today. One of them is we're going to talk about the color wheel. The color wheel, if you don't have a color wheel, all you have to do is type in Google color wheel and all different types of color wheels will come up. Okay, so one of the main things I want to talk to you today about the color wheel is that we have warm and cool colors. And I made a comment the other day, and it kind of took me by surprise, but I made a comment the other day, oh, I need to change the temperature of this color to work better in my painting. And I got a lot of questions on, what do you mean change the temperature? And so what I was talking about is I need to make my color a little bit more warm rather than cool to have a nice harmony in my painting on whatever specific painting I was working on at the time. So I just want to make sure that you understand that there are warm colors and there are cool colors, just like there's a hot and a cold on your water. Okay, your hot water has a little red dot at the top of it, so you know that your warm colors are on the red side. And then your cold water has a little blue dot on the top of it, so you know that your cool colors are on the blue side. So this is basically the breakup of the warm and cool colors on your color wheel. Okay, your reds, your yellows, your oranges are very warm. And then your cools are mostly your blues and your purples and your greens. Okay. Now, all of these colors have a variation as well, though. All right. All of these colors have a variation as well. Like you can have some warm reds and some cool reds. Okay. So that's like a whole nother level that we're going to just touch on a little bit, but that I just want to make sure you understand that there is so much to learn about painting and color theory that I cannot do it all in just these 10 days. Okay. So I'm going to just touch on the main components that I think you need and to help you understand a little bit more of things. And I hope that helps you in the long run. So another thing we're going to talk about here is it's the same color wheel. It's just a different picture of the same color wheel. All of the colors are placed in the same area. But this is making you focus on the complementary colors of one another. And so we all have, or our color wheel is super easy to, let me remove that. Super easy to understand. So if you look at your complementary colors, the complementary color to yellow is directly across the color wheel, and it is purple. The complementary color to green is red. Okay, so what does it mean to be a complementary color? To be a complementary color, it means that those 2 colors they're contrasting to one another. It means a lot of things actually. If you mix the 2 colors together, you're going to get a very neutral gray, almost brownish gray, just depending on what 2 colors you mix together at the time that you have, or what 2 complementary colors you mix together. And they work really well together in a painting. So one of the things we're going to focus on today in our painting that we're going to paint is we are going to focus on our complementary colors that we use in our painting and how they work together. Okay, so if you have a blue sky, for example, and you're working on maybe one big object, maybe one big flower that you're going to be painting in the painting, but you have a blue sky, then one of the best color to use that's going to have the most contrast and work really well together is directly across from blue is going to be your orange. All right. Think about your sports teams. Think about their colors. Okay. Think about LSU. I'm an LSU fan. I'm an LSU grad. Think about the colors of LSU. Well, they are purple and gold. Okay. They are complementary to one another. Okay. Give me another one. What's the
Saints? Gold and black, black and gold.
Black and gold. Well, black is not on the color wheel because black is a mixture of different colors. But
Florida State, blue and orange.
Blue and orange, exactly. Florida State is blue and orange. So they chose those colors. They had a reason for choosing those colors because they work well together and they are complementary colors of one another. Okay. Another one is
Kansas City Chiefs.
What are the Kansas City Chiefs?
Red and
there's like silver and red. They don't have any green in them, orange, but
Auburn.
But yeah, yay Chiefs, right? Because I know they're on their way to Super Bowl. So I know that's why somebody said that.
I did.
I mean, they don't all show complementary colors, but think about how those colors work together, So okay, so here's an interesting fact that I have just learned about. And like I said, I'm always learning more information. So, you know how you can go to Home Depot and to Lowe's and all that stuff, and you can go buy light bulbs, okay? And you buy your light bulbs, and you have a choice now whether you can have cool light in your room or you can have warm light in your room, okay? Well, my husband likes warm light because he is color deficient and he likes those yellows. He likes all of those warm colors. And I use blue light in my studio because it produces more of like just a more vibrant color to me than warm light does. So you can choose what kind of lights you want to work with. And outside, you can have cool light and you can have warm light outside in the natural light. Okay, natural light is even more important. So in natural light, your cool lights would be when it's really, really cloudy and you don't have that direct sunlight coming down, or like right after the sun goes down or right before the sun comes up. Those are like your cool light times of the day. Okay. And also depending on the weather, if it's a rainy day, you're going to have more of your cool lights. All right. Your warm lights are going to be, what they call the golden hour outside, right when the sun comes, right after the sun comes up and right before the sun goes down, or even during the day when the sun is like super, super vibrant and you can see the yellow of the sun shining down from the sky into the trees and all of that. The warm light is a lot easier to see and recognize when you're outside. But there's something very interesting in a painting that you may not have ever realized. And I am just touching on the surface here. But when a blue light is shining down and casts a shadow, because we're going to talk about shadows today. When it casts a shadow, it actually casts the complementary color in the shadow. And I'm going to show you some other examples of that. When warm light is being casting down, it produces the complementary color. It produces a blue shadow. So I thought that was super, super interesting. And I have been studying more and more paintings that actually show that in their paintings. And we're going to look at some right now. So here's an example that I wanted to show you. Here's a warm light coming in from, you can tell that it's sunlight coming in from it looks like the top right, okay, or maybe like the middle right. there is some sunlight coming through. And so this is some warm light coming through. And this is just a sample photo that I picked up. And you can see what color the shadows are. They are cool shadows. Now, some of you might be saying, well, how do you know if it's warm light or cool light? You just know. Like you just have to take time to start learning how to recognize them. Okay, it's nobody's going to be standing there saying, this is a warm light right here. You just have to start learning how to look at the lighting and recognize that it's got more of a blue tint or more of a yellow tint. Okay? Yes.
Lisa Butler says, would warm and cool play a part in choosing an underpaint color?
I think it does. Okay. So I mean, like I said, we can spend like hours and months talking about this. So if you're painting, for example, if you're painting like a purple flower, you may want to do an underpainting in like an orange, because those colors are kind of complementary. Like your purple is cool, and then your orange is warm. And then what it's going to do is that underpainting of orange, if you allow some of that orange to show through around that purple flower, it'll just make it pop even more. Yeah, so that's a great question. I love that question. All right, so here's another example of, I guess this is a big hippo. I just pulled this from the internet and I saw the shadows and I was like, this is perfect. So here's some warm light coming through, and this is just another example of some cool shadows. Okay, so you can see those cool shadows. They kind of have like a blue tint to them. Can you see that in that picture? So I think that's super cool.
Well, I got a couple of questions, baby.
Okay.
So Pam McReynolds says, so the underpainting would be orange with a purple flower, but the shadow would be different?
No, shadows and underpaintings are two totally different things. So I'm not trying to include all of that in the same concept. Okay. Underpaintings are personal preferences. Underpaintings are personal preferences. They do not have a rule to them.
Another question by Curry, or our Curry. How can you tell where light is coming from?
Mm-hmm. So that's a whole nother lesson that we can go into a lot of detail about. So if you go back to this one, how can you tell where the light is coming from? You have to pay attention to the shadows and what kind of shadows that they're creating. So like if you look at this one here, where are the shadows? If you notice that the rose, the shadow on this left rose is kind of up to the left. So that tells me that in order to create that kind of shadow, that light has to be coming from almost the same level as the rose, maybe a little bit lower, to be able to create a shadow that hits that way.
Rejects that direction.
Yes. Huh. And the location of the shadows will also tell you like what time of day it is. Like I can take this same picture at different times of the day, and it's gonna produce a totally different shadow every single time if I take the picture in the morning or the afternoon or the evening. So those are all very, very interesting color studies that you can do. And like I said, I'm just touching on the surface. I'm not going, super, super deep into all of that. So I hope that helps. Okay, here's one that I thought was interesting. There's really no sunlight. There's just a lot of clouds, and it's like a really, really foggy day. But this is more of a cool light. I find it's really harder to find photos of cool light than it is to find photos of warm light in the outside world. At least from photographers. Photographers obviously love to photograph things more in the warm light than in the cool light. Because I was just searching on the internet for different photos to try to help give you examples. Excuse me. So this would be an example to me more on the cool light side. And that's basically, you just have to ask yourself, okay, what kind of light is coming in on this photograph? What kind of light is coming in on this scene? regardless of whether it's a photograph or not. And I would consider this being more of a cool light photograph. So then when you start looking at the shadows, I know there's not a lot of shadows in this photograph because it's so foggy, but there are different values of shading that are going to occur in this painting. So I would make sure, if I were going to paint this scene, I would make sure that my areas of shading would be more on the warm side. And even like the green would be more on the warm side than it would be on the cool side when I'm trying to create my shading. Okay? So I hope that all makes sense.
They are loving it, Jen.
Okay, so here is one that I found that was super cool. This is obviously somebody that was playing around with shadows and lighting. And I found this photo on the internet. I was like, this is perfect. So there's this little statue of this bird, and look at the green light. He has a green light that he used, and he took a photograph of it. And look at the shadows. They're red. Green and red are complementary colors of one another. Okay, and then on the next picture to the right, he took a picture of the same exact bird, but he changed the light to be a blue light. And then look what happened to the shadow in the back. The shadow is now orange. So isn't that super cool?
Wow.
Isn't that super cool? Now, you know, we can get really deep here. And I start asking myself, because I've been studying this for a few months. I started asking myself, well, what if the background, what if instead of, because right now these two birds are on a white piece of paper. So it's super easy to see that the shadow is the color it is because I'm against a white piece of paper. But what if I change that white piece of paper to like a green piece of paper? Then what happens then? Well, that's a whole nother study that I'm trying to learn myself. And I think it's super interesting. So yeah. All right. So I just put the color wheel back up here again because we're going to focus on our complementary colors today. And I really love complementary colors. I use my color wheel a lot dealing with complementary colors because here's an example of two apples that are supposed to be almost the same exact apple. I know they look a little bit different with the colors, but the reason why they look a little bit different is because of the background of the apple. The one on the left, the apple has a green grayish background. The one on the right, the apple has a super vibrant red background. So which one of these feels more harmonious and gives you a better sense of, ooh, I like this. It looks better.
Great. Yeah.
You know, which one looks better? It's like it's a feeling that you get when your eyes focus on the object. So which one do you think has a better feel to it?
I have a couple questions when you get a chance, brother.
Okay. I'm just waiting for them to comment.
Red background, red one. The green background. Ooh. Got a couple of red. Someone says left, someone says red. We got different answers.
So
red, left.
You
red.
should be leaning towards the one on the left.
Really?
The one on the left has a much more comforting feel when you look at that. And it might be my fault for putting them on the same piece of tile on the same slide because they kind of play with your eyes. But the one on the left is much more complementary because we're using complementary colors. So it works better in a painting if you use the green and the red on the same painting like that, because it makes the apple. Let me ask it to you this way. Maybe I asked it the wrong way. Which one makes the apple pop? Which one makes the apple just stand out? That's probably what I should have said.
That's what Babin just said.
Yeah.
The apple on the green napkin stands out more.
Yes.
And then Pam McReynolds said the red makes it more vibrant, but too much red in the picture.
Too much red. I totally agree. I totally agree. Yes. The one with the green background is artistically is a better combination. Okay. It doesn't mean that you can't choose to paint the one on the right. It's just, if you were going to art school and you were trying to learn the real, how colors work together, they would tell you that you need to choose the one on the left to make the apple stand out better and to make it more prominent.
Got a time for a question?
Yes.
Do you recommend a particular color wheel with a grayscale that we could buy?
No, any color wheel will do. Any color wheel will do. I'll show you the one that I have that I use, and I'll show it to you again when I get off of this. I have the one that has the sliding. I don't even use that. I use this side. I use this side all the time, and I actually have it posted on my wall right in front of me, and I look at it all the time. I just wanted to show you a few more examples, and we're almost done. We only have like 4 slides left, so we're getting ready to start painting. These are some examples of Vincent van Gogh's paintings where he used complementary colors in his paintings. And you can see the complementary colors are very vibrant in here, the blues and the yellows, and also kind of like the purples and the oranges. And these are just 2 examples that I pulled from his work that are examples of your complementary colors. And another way that I wanted to talk about complementary colors just for a second, I found a couple of paintings that I just really loved. And this is one of them. Not complementary colors, I'm sorry, cool and warm, which actually cool and warm are complementary in, just in a different sense. So when you paint something like this, which I thought this was a beautiful painting, the cool colors are always further back. Okay, way in the back, you're going to see more of your cool colors because of atmosphere. It's going to cause them to be kind of foggy, and that's where most of your cool colors are going to be. And as you work your way to the front of the painting, you're going to see more of those warm colors closer to you. That's the legal way. If you were, like I said, if you were in an art school and you were learning about color theory and all of this, that is the correct way. It doesn't mean it's the only way to paint. It's just what you would learn. Okay. Also, something that I wanted to bring to your attention is in the forefront, in the foreground of this painting, there's a lot of green. And green is actually considered, on the color wheel, it's actually considered a cool color. However, this green has been mixed together enough with warmer shades to make the green more on the warmer side. Okay, do y'all want me to say that again? In the front, the closer you are up to the painting, you look at this painting and you see a lot of green. And there's a lot of green in the front, and normally green is considered a cool color. But you can make the green more towards the warm side by mixing it with some warmer tones and making it more of a warm green. So does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. And so that's the kind of greens that they used in this painting, is more of your warmer greens. And then this is just another one to show you the background is more of your cool colors, and the foreground up in the front is more of your warm colors. So just looking at those cools and those warms and seeing all the different colors there. So, basically we're kind of like the blue tints and the yellow orange tints. The blue tints are the warms, and the yellow oranges, those are your cools. Just the opposite. Forget that I said that. The blue tints are the cools. The yellows and oranges, those are your warms. All right. And this was one other example. Basically, it's kind of like a monotone painting. And there's a lot of blues, which are a lot of cool colors. But if he would have put his guitar like a blue guitar, you would have lost the guitar. It would have just gone away. You would not have seen it in this painting. So what he did was he made that one area a warm color where the rest of the painting was very cool. And notice also, and this is a very popular painting. Also notice that he put a little bit of those warm colors in a few other areas in the painting. Do y'all see it? Do you see it on his shoulder and on his legs and a little bit on the floor? So he used a few of those warm colors in there, but he really used those warm colors right in the middle on the guitar. And I thought that was a super fun painting to look at. Okay, and this is what we're painting tonight. Now, what I just did is I just gave you the black and white of what we're painting. We're going to look at the actual photo in just a minute. But the reason why I gave you the black and white is because I want our painting tonight to be all about the complementary colors. Okay, I want us to use the complementary colors. So this is basically a set of wildflowers, and it's facing the sky. Okay, so if you look at it in black and white, this is just a fun little tidbit for y'all. What colors would you want to use on the flowers if you were painting this and you were just given a black and white photo and you didn't know what the real colors of the flowers were? Anybody?
Oranges.
Oranges. Yes, we can use oranges.
Orange, yellow. Yellow for the flower.
Yellow, orange. Great. Yay. Okay. And think about all of the
peach, coral.
Peach, coral. Yes, they would all work. So we're gonna have some fun tonight, and we're gonna paint this. And I am going to actually, I'm gonna take this slide down, and I'm actually going to come on stage with you on this view.
Jen, you want to answer another question?
Yes. While I get this,
breath, so it's hard to get it in.
I know. I'm sorry. While I get this to show up, I'm going to let's see if it shows up. Go ahead.
Carrie asked, and it was a while ago. Oh my! What does it mean? How do you make it warmer or cooler? And you had the picture.
Oh, the green. How to make the green warmer or cooler?
Yeah.
So you would add what's a warm color? What's a warm color? So a warm color is like yellow. So you would add yellow to the green to make it more more warm. You would add orange to the green to make it more warm. Okay, so that's how you would make it more of a warm color. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so here is our, trying to get this a little bigger. I can maybe, let's see if my little camo studio is going to work for me tonight. Well, I can show it to you here. Here's our painting. This is the original photograph. Okay, this is the original photograph. Now, we can vary the colors. Okay, we can vary the colors, but the main thing is the reason why this photograph is such a beautiful photograph is because of the way that our eyes work with the different colors. The yellow and the blue are beautiful because they are complementary colors to one another. And because of that, and look, if you notice in the background, all the way in the background, you can see a little bit of purple back there. So they're adding a little bit of cool in it. And y'all, I want to talk to y'all about something that I just kind of understood. And I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning. I've been doing this for 9 years, and I still have so much to learn. And I don't think I'll ever stop learning when it comes to all of this. I catch myself looking, I like to use reference photos. I catch myself looking for a reference photo that has all the perfect colors in the photograph. But I should not be focusing so much on the colors in the photograph. I can create that painting using any colors that I want. It doesn't have to match exactly what the photograph has. So that's why I wanted to show you. I can create that painting in black and white even though I have a photograph of it in black and white, I can create a painting of it using any colors I want. But if I know more about the color theories and the whole color study, then I can just use the reference, okay, the inspiration, and I can create it and do more with it than what I could have done before if I didn't know all about the whole color study. So I hope that makes sense to you. And that's kind of something that I'm learning myself as I'm looking at reference photos. Because a lot of times all I'm doing is I'm looking at what has a pretty color scheme. No, let's look beyond color. Let's look at the composition. Let's look at the values that are in the photograph. Like, let's go a lot deeper and to try to pick what do I want to paint. So that's something, because I love researching and finding great reference photos or taking my own photos and using that as a painting inspiration. So I thought that would be something that y'all would like to hear from me. And we are going to get started. So here we go. Okay, let me put this aside. I am going to be using some beautiful colors today. We're not doing black and white. We're actually using colors. So I'm going to take my Stay Wet palette and we're going to start with ultramarine blue. Okay, I have ultramarine blue. I have Hooker's green or sap green, whichever one you want. Okay, I have titanium white, cadmium yellow. This is Mars black. This is quinacridone red. And this is burnt umber.
Did you mention what size, boo?
8 by 10. Okay. We're working on an 8 by 10.
But they can use any size.
Yeah, you can use any size, but you don't need a template for this or anything. And what we're going to do is we're going to start. I'm super excited. Super excited. Super excited. We're going to start with this blue.
The tribe always makes things better, don't
it? The tribe always
the painting, right?
The painting. We're going to start with this ultramarine blue and white. And we are just going to saturate this. This is just a canvas panel. Okay, it's just a canvas panel. And remember I told you about my Stay Wet palette. And these are all of the same exact colors. This is actually the same palette that I had last night. And I just saved the paint for tonight. And you can see it's kind of watery actually, because I probably have a little bit too much water on my Stay Wet palette.
Beth says, would it be okay to use blue for flowers?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to use blue for flowers, then don't make your sky blue unless you want a monochromatic painting. You want like the whole painting to be blue. But since our focus today is on complementary colors, y'all, there's no rule. In the long run, there's no rule in painting, because when I was researching to find, I say there's no rule. There is a rule, okay? We do follow rules, but not everybody, not all artists follow the rules. They make their own rules and they are successful.
And a lot of people are asking that, Jen. First, like, are we allowed to do some other complementary colors?
Yes.
And do you ever tone your paintings first?
Yes, like the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love to use orange in my background. That's my favorite.
Oh, Carrie asked a crazy question.
Uh-oh, Carrie. You put me on the spot.
Swedish washcloth.
I have no idea.
I think technically it's a washcloth from Sweden.
It's a washcloth from Sweden. All right, that's about right. All right, so I'm going to bring this blue all the way down. Now, I have watched artists that will say the top of your sky needs to be darker than the bottom of your sky. So make your sky, a little bit more gradient. But you know, we're almost painting like a still life in a way. I was hoping to get this to show up instead of.
So the image that they can look at is in the top right-hand corner of the
Yes,
thing, right?
it is in the top right-hand corner. I'm trying to figure out how to make it bigger, and I'm having trouble doing that. I can show it to y'all every once in a while in the main screen.
Needs an outlet.
No, it's just one of those little tech issues that, you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Jim, what can I buy that water bin?
Oh, this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I bought that on Blick.com. It's got two different areas. I always like to use two different areas for paints. One is for clean water and one is to actually clean my paintbrush. The one for clean water is to just wet my paintbrush to give me a little more moisture in my paints. And the one on the right is the actual like messy water cleaning your paintbrushes. Because if I'm trying to use a white and I need a little bit more moisture on my paintbrush, I don't want to dip my paintbrush in the cloudy water. It's going to cloud up my white, and I don't want to do that. Okay. So I just added just a teeny bit of a lighter blue down here, just a little bit. Oops, I just messed that up. Let's fix that. So I think this is going to be a really pretty painting. We can definitely make some orange flowers and some yellow flowers and whatever colors we want. But I thought this was a fun, easy painting for y'all to just use an impressionistic style in the painting. And we are going to do that right now. So I'm going to now use...
Do you ever use medium gel with heavy bottom?
Yes, I do. I use it a lot, actually. Gel medium is what it's called. I have some right here. This one is called matte medium. Okay, and that really helps to move your paint. I use heavy body paints, and this is a really good medium that helps. You can mix it. It's almost like a milky consistency. I'll show it to you. I'll put it right here. Well, it's more than a milky consistency. It's pretty thick. You see it right there? And it just helps your paint move better without messing up the pigment of the paint. And the pigment of the paint is basically the color of the paint. If you add too much water to your paint, you're gonna lose the color of your paint, and you're gonna lose the adherence of your paint to your paint surface. So it is actually better to use a medium instead of water. So always just use very little water. Don't use a lot of water. Right now, I feel like I have a little bit too much water, to be honest. So I'm going to add a little more paint. Just give me a little bit more of that green in there. So one of the things about the Stay Wet palette, if you decide to buy one, you have to get used to like how much water do you put on your sponge? Because sometimes you can put too much water on your sponge and it causes your paints to get too runny. Okay, and there's a fine line in that. So be very careful. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm taking my paintbrush, my flat paintbrush, and I'm dipping it in the green. And I'm going to add a little bit of the blue to it because I don't want it to be too green. I want it to be kind of like a medium green, and that's just my choice. A little bit more towards the bluish green. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to start making some really loose grass. All right here. I'm not following the same exact as what they have in the photo. I'm just kind of doing my own thing. Remember, this is just a reference. This is not the exact painting that I'm trying to create.
Jim, maybe, I don't know, maybe you can, later on, you can show them how you got your paint on the wall.
Paint on
A couple
the
of people
wall.
were asking
What do
about
you
how they
mean?
got that set up.
Oh, yeah. I have a video for that. I could share it with y'all. On how I made all of my paints hanging.
Yeah, I just counted your two. You don't need any more paint.
I don't need any more, baby.
No, it's 150 right now.
No, that's only what's on the wall. Did you count what's in that crack pack right there? All right, I added a little bit of yellow to my green, and that's going to make my green a little bit brighter and also warmer. Okay, somebody was asking, well, how do you make the green warmer? You add some yellow or some orange or some in between to your color.
What brush are you using?
I'm using a flat brush that is a number 12 Princeton Velvet Touch. I buy them from Blick.com. It's a number 12 flat Princeton Velvet Touch. And it's some of my favorite brushes. I like the long handles. Long handles to me are better. It keeps me very loose in my artwork when I'm working. And I work fast. I work extremely fast, actually. A lot of people say, slow down, slow down. I'm like, just hit the pause button when you watch the replay. Because the faster I go, the more I can keep myself loose. You know? So, but I try to slow down every once in a while. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I can surely see it in the photo. I'm going to show y'all the photo again in a larger scale. I want you to look way back there. Look way back there and look at those flowers that are way back there. What color do you see the stem? What color do you see the stem way back there? Well, I know it's hard for you, baby. But most people can. And what did we say about things that are further back? Like, what do we know about them? What did you learn about that today? Anybody saying anything?
Let me see. Okay, Pam, talk to you later. Oh yeah, got a bunch of, looks like blue, blue, purple, blue, blue, green, or black, blue, purple.
That's right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making like a purple. I'm making like
blue gray.
Blue gray, right.
Blue.
So I'm using blue and red.
Shout out to Pam, Mom. Bye, Pam.
Shout out to Pam. Bye, Pam. So I'm going to use my ultramarine blue and my ultramarine, maybe I'm using cadmium red deep for my blue. I'm going to make kind of like a bluish purple here. I'm going to add just a little bit of white. And I'm going to work in some stems that are just a little darker. So they're gonna have more of a, just kind of make them, see how I'm doing with my finger? You want it to be a little more blurry, I guess.
Hmm.
You just add a little bit of that back there, and that kind of gives you the impression that there's some flowers back there, but I can't really see exactly, you know, everything about them. Now, one of the things we do, and I have a, I open it 3 times a year or 4 times a year. We have a 6x6 challenge. And in the challenge, we paint on 6x6 canvases only. And we paint using a limited color palette. We use just blues, reds, and yellows, and we mix 90% of our colors together to get the color scheme that we want. And so it is a super fun challenge. The next time we launch it is going to be in April. We have one group going through the challenge right now, and we're on like it's 52 weeks. And right now I'm just to change the subject real quick, I'm just coming in with my lighter purples. See how I'm adding that? And I'm just kind of focusing on those lighter purples. So it's a 6x6x52 challenge. I don't go live. It's all pre-recorded videos on a 6x6 surface. We use a limited color palette, and we paint on a 6x6. And once a week, a new video is dropped. And it's a super fun challenge. And it lasts for 52 weeks. So that is something that if ever you wanted to learn more about mixing your colors and working on with limited colors, it's so much fun. It's probably one of my favorite things to do is work with limited colors. Okay, so I think I'm on a good track here. What do y'all think? Everybody doing okay so far?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go a little bit lighter in these purples. I'm gonna add a little bit more of a white. A little bit more white. Keeping it very loose and very fun. Okay, so now I'm going to clean that paintbrush off. I'm going to use the same paintbrush again, but I'm just going to clean it off. And this is just an old rag I use to wipe my paintbrush off. And now I am going to take some yellow and red. I'm going to mix those 2 colors together. I'm going to make a really pretty orange. And I'm going to start with that. I know that's a lot darker. Just put some paint right here. I need some water. I know that's a lot darker than what the photograph has, but here's something I want you to notice, okay? Notice I'm putting this color down, and it is very opaque. I'm sorry, it is very transparent. I'm having trouble with my words today. The reason why it's very transparent is because my paint is so thin. And that's because I have too much water in my water palette. So my Stay Wet palette has too much water in it. So I'm going to bring in a little bit more. Let me come in here. And when you use craft grade paints, you're going to see that more often. And then because I have too much water on my Stay Wet palette, I'm going to see it as well. So basically what's happening is I'm going to have to put a few more layers than I thought I was going to have to put for these colors. So let me mix a little bit more. I'm just taking some yellow. And I'm just coming in right now with a lot of oranges. And I'm going to add more yellow in just a minute. Let's see. We've got a big flower right here. Let me add some white to that and see what happens. We've got another one right here. Need to put a stem for this one. I don't even have a stem there. Let's get some right here. I'm keeping it really, really loose. And I have this stem right here that has nothing on it. So I'm going to add a flower right there. And I'm going to bring in another sheet that's not in my Stay Wet palette. And I'm going to add some yellow to it. Because my Stay Wet palette is making all of my paints too transparent.
I'm here, Mama.
Okay, you were quiet back there. I was just
Reading
checking.
comments.
Okay.
No questions yet.
No questions. Okay, so I'm gonna put some more yellow on my palette here, and a little bit more red. I'm kind of starting over because I feel like my Stay Wet palette is making my paints too transparent. So I'm going to come back with this orange back here. There we go. See the difference?
Michelle says, Jen, do you use gesso on your canvas before you paint?
So it depends on the painting, but yes, most of the time I do. If it's a painting that I know that I want to sell, that is going, that is going to be hung in my house, or that I'm going to bring to a market to put for sale, or maybe it's a commission piece, then absolutely. But if I'm just painting because I'm practicing on something, then I probably won't use the gesso, because gesso is expensive, and sometimes I just skip that step. But yes, I do use gesso almost all the time.
Is that a flat or an angle brush you're using?
Flat.
Gotcha.
It is flat. Yes. So I'm coming back with all of these beautiful yellows and oranges. And you can see that my colors are working much better now, because they're not watered down like they were previously. And you can start seeing all the different yellows and the brights and the darks, and that's what I want.
And Pauline says, don't canvases come gessoed already?
They do. They have like a very minimal cover of gesso. So what I have experienced over the years is you can buy all different kinds of canvases. Okay, some canvases are very well gessoed, some are not. It depends on the product that you buy, and you know, product is based on how much you're going to pay for it and all that good stuff. But I'm coming in with some lighter colors, y'all. But some canvases they still have like all those little holes, you know what I'm saying? And I like my canvases to be a little more smooth. So I use the gesso as a primer to kind of make my canvas even more smooth than what it was when I buy it. Okay, so let me talk to y'all about my thoughts in this painting. Right now, I do not feel like I'm doing anything good. Okay, I have a lot of little things that all I'm doing right now is I'm just coloring in colors, basically. I'm just bringing in some colors, and there's no good definition happening. It's just a bunch of colors, yellows and oranges and all of that. So I'm going to focus now on starting to get in my different shades of yellows. And the more I can bring in different shades of yellows, the more you're going to start seeing all of these flowers come to life.
Another quick question, babe.
Mm-hmm.
How many layers of gesso do you usually put on your canvas? Do you sand your canvas after you gessoed? I heard of someone doing that on an acrylic group that I'm on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. I do not do that, but that is a normal practice that a lot of professional artists do actually practice. But I don't. I do not do that. I don't feel like I need to. It's totally, totally up to the person. If they want a really, really, really nice, smooth surface, like no little dots in your canvas at all, I'm bringing in some Hooker's Green because I need a little bit more of some stems. This flower right here has no stem.
Wow. Good catch there.
Yeah, and this one should have a really bright.
I think I know this answer, but I'm going to ask a question anyway. My gesso is running. What kind do I need to buy?
It's okay if your gesso is runny.
Right. And you can just put some, like if you're using, you can add paint, right?
Yeah.
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 To thicken. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have all different levels of gesso. I like the one that's thick though.
Pauline says, rather than the oranges, can you use white under the yellow for better adherence?
Yes. So white is always going to add a little bit of opacity to your painting. So if you put some white, like if you're having trouble getting away from the transparency, but you can actually allow yourself to change the value of your paint color, you can always add white, and it always makes it more opaque. Okay, so let's start focusing on these different. Right now, it just looks like a big blob, and I don't want it to look like a big blob. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start focusing more on specific components and get in there a little more. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to start focusing on some of the grass, some of the greens. And on the greens, I need some white as well. On the greens, I'm also going to add some white because I see a lot of little white areas in the grass. I see a lot of I stopped talking, didn't I?
Mhm.
I got all I see a lot of highlights in the grass. So I'm going to start by bringing those up and just adding a really lighter green. And I'm just kind of touching on the edges of the different strokes of grass.
Do you ever mix your white paint with gesso for a more matte texture?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do it all, y'all. I do it all. Okay, so I like that better when it comes to the grass. And I feel like I could even put a little more green in here. All right, now let's focus on my yellows and my flowers. Try to get all that paint out of there. I'm going to go a little bit smaller. So this is a smaller one. This is a number 6 flat. It's the same brand, same name brand, Princeton Velvet Touch, but it's just a 6 instead of an 8 or a 12. I had a 12 before. And I'm going to really start focusing on different values. And I'm going to start with the darker values. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of the red, and a little bit of the yellow. And sometimes you think when you look at a painting or you look at a photograph, you're like, oh, this is going to be easy. And then when you start getting into it, you're like, oh, this is not as easy as I thought it was. And then it becomes a challenge. And that's basically what I'm doing right now is I'm dealing with this challenge. But you know what? One of the things, being an educator all of my life, it does not, it doesn't bother me at all that I don't have it right, even though I'm live with y'all.
Mm.
I think it's so important for y'all to see that, oh, she made a mistake. And how's she going to fix that mistake? Or, oh, that's very interesting to see how, how she dealt with. I used to love to do that in my math classes.
Really?
I was like, yeah.
Oh.
Some of my students would say, well, what if you did this instead of this? I was like, and I would say, well, I don't know. Let's do it. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. And that to me it's a learning experience for everybody involved,
Yeah.
How much fun is that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you not want to be a part of that?
Cindy says, that's how we learn.
Mm-hmm.
She actually put, that's how we learn, suckers. I don't know what that
Nuh-uh,
means.
she did not. You, I know you would have said that. That's how we learn, suckers. I'm bringing in some lighter colors at the tips. Lighter colors at the tips. And something else you could do, which is a totally, different than what I'm doing right now, is you could have kind of like drawn it out first and then told yourself, okay, I don't want the blue sky to be behind the flowers. And so we could have painted the flowers first and then put the blue sky in afterwards. That's another way of painting, which we will do on a painting in this challenge. I'll show you how to do the negative painting as well.
Oh, here's an interesting question.
What's that?
Do you ever find yourself going back to a canvas and tweaking things? I cannot seem to stop.
Yes, all the time. I highly recommend.
Curry's the same way. She says I have a hard time knowing when to say it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm mixing the blue. Nope, saying the wrong color. I'm mixing the red and the green together to make kind of like a grayish color, because you know red and green are complementary colors to one another. And I see a few areas in my flowers that I could use some of this grayness to come through. Just a few little areas. You don't want to go grab a new color and try something, you know, with making like some muted colors. You want to take the colors you have and mix them together to make a darker color. If you go and try to grab a different tube of paint that's not already engrossed into the painting somewhere, like those colors are not in that painting somewhere, then it's going to mess your whole painting up. It's going to mess up the harmony of the painting. So you have to try, if you want to bring in a darker color, like I'm bringing in almost like a purplish gray, I created that color by using the colors that are already on this painting and by mixing them together. And it's basically saying, okay, well, I'm using some darker shades of inside those colors. Those, like this color, I can see that some of that purple is in that color. Does that make sense?
It does, it does.
Okay. Now that looks a lot better, don't you think? I actually added, and I'm going to add some white as well. Actually added some more definition to the flowers. And I'm still keeping it really loose. I'm going to add some, come in with a little more white on these flowers. That's my cooler area. I love the contrast of these colors, don't y'all?
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice. Very, very nice. I know, I start going crazy.
Mm.
A little more. Little more. Let's bring in one more shade of yellow. So I'm going to add some white to my yellow. I'm going to bring it up one more notch. A little bit brighter. Right on the edges.
Good comments here, Jen.
Really?
Yeah. Loose is my biggest challenge. This would be a good exercise. That came from TD Fowler. Pauline says, I have to not be afraid to smudge my paint.
We're doing a lot of smudging, Miss Pauline.
Pauline also says, will you post your painting afterwards?
Yes, indeed. So in the hub, in the actual Acrylic 101 hub, where all of these videos and all of the downloads and everything are being located, I'll show it to y'all again. After the video, after the live video, I am posting the reference photo and my painting that I created as well for you to use to follow. Okay, so I hope that'll help you in the whole journey while we continue to have a lot of fun. Okay, I feel like I need one more color, and that is a little bit more white. So I'm going to bring in just a teeny bit of white. You see how I just keep on adding a little bit more brightness. Oops, that's the yellow. I don't want the yellow. Little bit of white. Smudge, smudge. I'm grabbing my white from my Stay Wet palette over there. Make a few more brighter areas. And I know it does not look anything like the actual photograph, but like I said, we're not trying to recreate a photograph. If all we were trying to do is recreate an exact photograph, then why paint? All you have to do is go take a picture. And I don't want it to be a picture. I want it to be a painting. And I want to use the picture as an inspiration for the painting. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. I'm going to stop. Right? I'm going to stop. I promise. Just adding a little bit more white on the ends. And I think we showed a very good example of contrasting colors that work really well together. Oh, you can stay where you are.
You sure?
Or maybe just come a little bit closer.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to come back to our double screen here. Yeah, and Michael is going to come into the scene also.
That's
and
right.
Let me get this
I'm
painting.
gonna be right here.
And I'm so excited about this because painting is super cute. That is on an 8x10. I painted this on an 8x10 if y'all were wondering. I think y'all were wondering, right? So Michael is here with us because he's gonna, it looks really good. I appreciate the information
really
about
good?
complementary colors. Miss Pauline says, I appreciate the information about complementary colors today. That color wheel was intimidating to me. It is so much fun to use a color wheel. And we talk about it a lot in our membership as well. So I'm glad. Thank you so much, Miss Pauline. Thank you, TK. Thank you, Elaine. It looks better than the photo. You're my kind of people. That's a great comment. I love that. Thank y'all so much. Michael, you have something to say?
So real quick, guess what? You chose to be here tonight. And we hope that you are blessed for it. I want to encourage all of you to paint, continue to paint. You don't have to sit down for an hour or two. You can just make little touches as you walk by and sit down and look at it because it's peaceful. And we really, really appreciate y'all being here. And we appreciate you being positive. You know what? It takes work to be positive. Anyone, any old sour face can be negative. But to be positive is a wonderful thing, and we appreciate it. So let's pray.
Yes.
You want to?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Holy God in heaven, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for all of our friends that have shown up tonight. God, we would ask that you bless them and their families and that you would give them strength to move forward into this weekend, praising your name and being bold about the name of Jesus. For it is in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Right on.
Y'all, I really like it. Might have to put it in my bathroom. Thank y'all all again for being here tonight. We will see you again tomorrow.
That's right.
I don't even know what we have planned tomorrow, but it's going to be fun, whatever it is. So I'm super excited to see all of your work that you create. And don't forget to share it in the Facebook group. And we will see you again tomorrow. Y'all have a great night.
God bless.
Bye-bye. Oops.
Oh, you got a big picture. You thought, what was I going to say?